GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that
yes? Let's go! So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is he? How good? Let's get it, GMGP. It is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is. The Canadian Jordan Richards. You can find him at your boy, JRich on X. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every single Friday right here live, engaging with the good people in the chat, and I see y'all popping off early. I see you in here early, so if you are here for the first time, we have a good time every single time. I ask you to do one thing. Hit that thumbs up button. Like, comment, subscribe. I guess that's 4 things. And engage with the good people in the chat. I see the family in the building right now. Yes, Jorge, what's going down with you? I'm happy the Chiefs are so cheap. We got to talk trades, JRich. We got to talk NFL trades, trade deadline. We had a bunch of shows yesterday. JRich and I were on the Bleacher Report live stream all day. Me, JRich, Kurt Benker talking about some of the deals. After that, I jumped right on with Yahoo. Me and Matt Harmon chopping it up from a fantasy football perspective, talking about what these moves mean, what these deals do, what these players are going to do now. So we're going to do it now. We're going to do it now with y'all in the chat. I see Jason in the building. Got that cowboy hoodie on. Guess he liked the trade. Yeah, we like it. We're going to talk about Quinn Williams. We're going to talk about big Quinn Williams in Dallas. We're going to talk about it today. JRich, your boy, Rasheed Shaheed. We got to talk about some Shaheed. Indianapolis Colts making big moves. Matt Jones in the building. Jason 598 GMGP to you. Alex in the building. Jeff, what's going down with y'all, man? Patrick, Jimbo, some of y'all, this ad, and I don't see y'all. I still don't know why this is happening, JRich. I don't like it. I like to see the names. I like to see the people. But where you at, big dog? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, I've made fun of you because obviously the Cowboys did make some seismic moves yesterday. But we haven't talked about Monday Night Football yet, Ray. We haven't talked about Monday Night Football. And maybe we won't talk about Monday Night Football. But yeah, you know, it's funny. It's funny what happened on Monday night because Jerry,
It's funny, huh?
Well, it's just funny because Jerry, you know, he goes on Stephen A's show. He's like, we're going to make a big trade. And then what happens? They lose Monday Night Football to the Cardinals, the 2-5 Cardinals, now 3-5 Cardinals. And then after the post game, he's like, yeah, you know, we're maybe going to make a trade. I'll see. The way that he switched it up was hilarious. But they did make some big moves yesterday. We had some big shows, lots of big things coming as well, especially next week, but I'm glad everyone is here. There's so much to talk about from the trades, from a fantasy football side, the NFL side. We had a ton of fun yesterday, but we're here to do it with our people now, finally, on Wake Up. Very excited for the show.
Yeah, I wasn't. So did you change your shirt or did you not have on? I thought we had on the same shirt. That's why I put this damn hoodie on. I was like, we can't wear the same. We can't be twins.
I was always wearing this shirt. Oh. And then even in pre-show, you said same shirt. And I thought you were referring to me wearing the same shirt as yesterday, and I was like, "Did I wear this shirt yesterday?"
Oh
so
no, I thought we were wearing. Because I got the green shirt. Daddy on too, so I was like, "Man, we can't both be twinsing it out here on the stream." So I had to throw the hoodie on real quick, but I can unzip this since we got a little differentiator in the hues of the green. You know what I'm saying? You got that mint color going on right now.
Yeah.
But you did you did touch on Monday Night Football. We will talk about that briefly. There's no need to really discuss the wins and the losses. It's about the outcomes of the players from the game. That's why we're here. But you did talk about a big show that we have next week. And yes, it is a big show for us. It is our first time that we are going to run what we are calling a premium live stream. It's going to be the whole crew, all things dedicated to football, to fantasy, to dynasty, startup, rookie stuff. It's going to be a fun time. We got a lot of dope stuff planned for y'all. It's our mid-season mayhem live stream main event live on November 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to go for 3 hours. All things Dynasty, fantasy, draft, rookies, 26, 27, Scott Connor, Shane Manila, me, JRich, Brandon, Ty, the whole crew going to be in the building. So pull up for the main event next Wednesday night. We're going to have some giveaway stuff. There was a little contest that we ran last week, and if you guys followed the instructions, you have already been entered into that drawing. Somebody's going to be joining the Heisman tier and chopping it up with us every single day over there in the DD Discord for 12 months, free of charge. JRich, we're doing that. Later today, Trinity drops. Man, Parker Washington, we got him on the thumbnail because Scott Connor and I were pumping him up, JRich, and then they went off and made a move. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but you got to trust it. The best usage visualization tool in the game. And I'm telling y'all, it's only going to get better. Better. Working on some dope stuff right now with Trinity. Shout out Lee Savage Fantasy Football. Dynasty Takeaway Show. Scott Connor and Brandon every Monday around 5 p.m. my time. So what's that, 6 Eastern? They talk through some of the things that have happened over the past week. So I know we're at Wednesday, but I highly suggest you pull up, check that show out, throw it on the ear, throw it on the podcast, listen to that as you ride into work. Check out Dynasty Takeaways. That's on DDFFB. But the big thing, Jay, I'm excited for this main event that we have next Wednesday, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We have a lot of different segments planned, lots of involvement with the chat, some giveaways. Should be a fun show. Should be a really, really fun show. Talking everything Dynasty, especially with that time. It'll be after week 10, so it'll be right around when you start preparing for playoffs. Should be a good show. People seem to be liking the graphic too, Ray.
So, a real TKO move here from Triple Ray. Hey, I kind of like it. If you know, you know. JRich, I know that doesn't mean much to you, TKO and Triple Ray, but we're on the same page, baby. I'm with you. I kind of like that. It made me smile today, JRich. That made me smile. Got to talk through some trades, dog. Got to talk through some trades, and everybody knows sort of what the trades are, but they want to hear from our perspective. Well, no, screw that. Are we going to do you want to get Monday Night Football out of the way? Like, let's just.
It's your team. If you want, we can loop it in with the news that we got yesterday as well.
Just talk about it, man. What happened on Monday night, man? I feel we got Monday Night Football, college football playoff stuff. What happened on Monday night? What are the big takeaways? What did you learn from the game on Monday night since you want to talk about the shit?
Well, I think I learned the Cowboys are a little fraudulent, Ray. Do we still believe in them the way we believed in them a few weeks ago? I mean, they lost 27-17 to the Arizona Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett looked good. Offense is scoring, I believe, 24, 25 points a game since Jacoby Brissett's been the starter. Marvin Harrison looked great, scored the first touchdown. I mean, we kind of expected that, especially from the offense. But on the other side, would you say that your offense delivered in this game?
No.
Because that, for me, is kind of the big takeaway, is that against Denver, it's one thing. Denver's a very good defense.
Right.
But against Arizona, who I have talked about as a strong defense, I think Gannon's doing a good job with the defense, but we don't know if they're, again, so good that they're going to hold down a team like the Cowboys if we believe the Cowboys are a top 5, top 10 at least offense in the NFL. That, for me, is the takeaway.
I mean, they are a top
what is going
offense
on with
in the
that?
NFL. They are a top
I would agree
offense.
with you, but a top offense in the NFL should probably deliver against the Arizona Cardinals. Right, and that's more what I'm getting at.
Haven't you been the one to say that the Arizona defense?
Said that. I did just say that. I've been the one on this show who's acknowledged the strengths of the Arizona defense. But if we believe the Cowboys are at least a top 10 offense, which we would say that for sure, probably even a top 5 offense, they should probably still be able to score more than 10 points against the Arizona Cardinals.
It was an off night. It was an off night. It was an off night. Fumbles. You can't fumble the damn ball. They're fumbling it all over the place, right? Jake Ferg fumbled. Pickens fumbled twice, got one back. Dak Prescott getting sacked all over the place. They couldn't hold up against the pass rush. Calais Campbell looked all the Hall of Famer that he is. He's been in the league for 30 years, and he's still wreaking havoc, right? Yes, the offense did not do what they should have done at home against Arizona. There were no excuses. It was a piss-poor performance, especially in the first half. Javonte Williams, if you started him, you didn't get a lot, right? Lamb and Pickens, I thought they were fine. At the end of the day, you know, you're getting double-digit fantasy points from those guys out of this matchup. And then Dak was the big letdown. But you got to be able to hold up. You've got to be able to hold up against pressure. Sweat looked like a damn all-pro out there. He was everywhere. All I saw was 10 hand in Dak Prescott's face all night. I was at the game. Jay, I was in the box. I was at the game watching this live, and I'm just like, come on, man. Stephen A. and Jerry right next to me.
You're with Stephen A?
No, he was a couple of boxes down. But I'm watching it. I'm thinking, come on, man. Y'all gotta protect Dak Prescott. What do you expect? The defense is what it is, and we'll talk about them in a minute. Offensively, I still think it's the same. We're still in the same boat. Lamb, Pickens, Ferg, must start options. Javonte Williams, must start option moving forward, and Dak Prescott is as well. Other side of the ball, DeMarcado. Wow. I mean, opportunity for him. And he looked good. Granted, it was versus Dallas' defense, right? It was just wide open holes. He looked good. Bam Knight got vultured a couple of times. Should have scored. Was right there at the 1 yard line. Jacoby Brissett rushed it in. 2 TDs for Brissett. 1 rushing touchdown. No interceptions. He also got his ass sacked 5 times. He can't move around. We know that. The big sort of thing that happened was Marvin Harrison had a good game. I talked about it on the show last week with Matt Harmon on Yahoo. I said, hey, if Marv can't get right versus Dallas, is over. You saw Marv's dad come out and say, hey, man, this offense stinks. I can't watch it. Then boom, boom, boom. Target. He balled out, 7 for 96, broke damn Deron Bland's ankles. You know one or two things. It's 1 yard. It's either going to be a slant or a fade. They're not doing anything else. Just give it up, right? Ankles completely shattered. Touchdown, easy, walk in. Got CeeDee Lamb doing all that.
Yeah, that
Come
was
on, man.
funny.
Get it together. Trey McBride, 5 for 55. He scored a touchdown. Should have had 2. He was good. What are the takeaways? Jacoby Brissett, named the starter, right? He's the starting quarterback moving forward. We'll see,
right? It's moving forward is pending Kyler's health. He was named the starter. Kyler is healing up, I guess. I mean, we don't really know exactly how bad the injury is. He went to see another doctor. They said it could be 4 to 8 weeks, which
I'm not buying none of that shit, JRich.
Span of a month.
They gotta stop.
And that's fine.
They got to stop it.
That's fine. If you don't, I'm not saying you should buy it. This is just what was reported. This is what has been discussed. This is the reason why Jacoby is going to be the starter for the foreseeable future. But
do you think it's the foreseeable future? Do you really think it's the foreseeable future? Because I think one stinker and he could be out of there. 1 or 2 stinkers, he's out.
Maybe. But okay, if you're the Cardinals, right? The offense has looked better with Jacoby Brissett. That's kind of undeniable at this point. And Gannon has even been at the podium and acknowledged that, right? That's one of the reasons why they're making this switch officially ahead of this week. They want Kyler to heal up, which I think is part of it. But I think that Jacoby has earned another start. To your point, do you think that he's going to be the starter to the end of the season? I wouldn't say that. And if he has a few stinkers, that opens the door to bringing Kyler back. But if he's fine, if they're competitive, I could see a world where you get Jacoby Brissett for probably another 3 to 4 weeks at least. Maybe not all throughout the end of the season, depending on how the season goes. If they lose a bunch of games and they're close games like they've been losing. But this team's been very competitive in a lot of games this season. They just haven't gone the right way. That's why they ended up at 2-5. But if they start winning some of these closer games and things start trending their way, they can maybe be right around 500 by the time Kyler comes back. And at that point, do you make the decision to go to Kyler after you would have won multiple games in a row? That's kind of the big question. I think you look to see where they're at the end of the season, but I think Kyler's probably going to be out till at least December, I'd imagine.
I think Kyler's time, it's this, I'm just going to tell you what it feels like to me, right? And I said this, and this was my boy, JRich. So I'm looking myself in the mirror, right, with the crying meme. This was my boy. Without saying it, this is almost, Kyler's been way more successful than Anthony Richardson has in the NFL. Okay, even though he hadn't won in the playoffs, he's been a infinitely better quarterback. But the moment you bench your starting guy, like the moment you do that, not talking Bryce Young for Andy Dalton, but like Kyler's been there. Kyler's been in the league since what, 2019? This is his 6th, 7th year in the NFL, and you bench him for Jacoby Brissett. This was a regime, a head coaching staff that did not draft Kyler Murray. This was a Cliff Kingsbury, Steve Keim. This was their guy. Jonathan Gannon had to make it work. He already came in the kitchen and the shit was on the stove cooking. He's just got to try to figure it out and make it taste the way. Let me tell you, I'm not gonna go there right now. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not. I'll leave that analogy for a little later in the show. Kyler wasn't his guy, and he's tried to make it work, and it is very obvious that he does not fit what they want to do offensively. They don't. There was a play, I think it was the first play of the third quarter. play action, right? Under center, Jacoby Brissett, play action, steps up in the pocket and hits Michael Wilson for like a 50-yard dig across the middle of the field. That's something you don't see Kyler do. On schedule, on time, stepping up in the price too. He's my size out there, so the offense has to be specifically tailored and catered to him. When you have a quarterback that is so limited, right? They're short, they're not the tallest, they can't see, they don't have a big arm. You've got to really cater your offensive game plan around that unique skill set. And not every offensive coordinator, not every offense is built to sort of support that. And I think it is very clear that he does not fit what they want to do. I don't know if Gannon's going to go or not. Like when I think about the pantheon or the pecking order of coaches who are probably on the hot seat, it just doesn't feel like Arizona's is putting him on the hot seat. Not right now. I mean, what's the expectation? They're in the damn toughest division in football, probably. We know they don't have a quarterback. Both their starting running back, backup running back, gone. Defensively, they turn this thing over. I think Gannon's got another year of leash underneath his belt. I think Kyler's gone, man. I think Kyler Murray is on a new team in 2026. And when you're looking at 2026, I'm telling y'all right now, I don't care what Scott Smith, FF, on Twitter says about the 26 draft class, right? It's not that good. And it's not even a guarantee. Do you think Alabama's finna let Ty Simpson just walk up out of there? He's getting a blank check to stay right there at Alabama. He's been there for 10 years anyway. Yeah. Might as well ride this out a little longer. Dante Moore is not a number one quarterback yet. Not a chance. I'm not buying it, JRich. You got one guy in the 26 class. It's Fernando Mendoza. That's who you got. That's who you... Kyler's going to be a starting quarterback somewhere else next year. I think there are probably a handful of other quarterbacks who are going to be starting quarterbacks on some of these QB-needy teams. Kyler's gone. I think they are done with him after this season. And if Gannon is still the head coach after pulling that move, you better cash it. Cash that check right now. He's on a new team in 2026, JRich.
Okay, so that's interesting, right? I feel like that's really the popular take right now. So Kyler's dead cap after this season is $57 million, it looks like, which isn't crazy, not insurmountable by any stretch. It's very doable in today's NFL. I think it's interesting you brought up Kyler's fit with the Arizona offense because if you're a coach, right, Jonathan Gannon is obviously a defensive guy, but if you're hiring an OC, why are you hiring an OC that doesn't know how to build around, in theory, your franchise quarterback, right? So is it on Gannon? Is it on the OC? Is it on Kyler? Right? It depends on where you want to point the blame. Kyler is definitely a quarterback that's being paid to fit the system that he's in, but we all know that's not how the NFL works. You can't just put any quarterback in any system and expect success. Look at Jalen Hurts right now versus Jalen Hurts last year. Same team, different coordinators, drastically different offenses, right? And there is obviously other factors in there as well. I don't know if Kyler's going to be gone, though. I am with you that it seems like for everything he's been in his time in Arizona, he's just not their guy. And he's probably not a guy right now. Maybe things can change. Maybe a new situation can yield different results. We've seen it with countless quarterbacks, especially in recent memory. But I'm not really sure who trades for him, how you trade him, and kind of how that all goes down. Because who are the teams that you think could potentially make a move for a Kyler Murray?
Here's the thing.
Could you see a Kyler for Tua
How much
swap?
dead cap did the Broncos accrue when they cut?
$80 million, I think.
I don't think teams give a shit about that. I know we talk about that.
They don't.
Like the dead cap doesn't.
But you're also talking about, okay, the dead cap is one thing, right? It's $57 million right now for Kyler going into next season. It's not crazy.
It's not crazy, man.
But when you're the Broncos and your plan is to load up and prepare for a very good quarterback class, which I think we would all admit. Going even into the process, we said this is a pretty strong quarterback class. A lot of quarterbacks who've been in college for a long time, a ton of experience. It's the exact opposite.
Miami. What about Miami? Because Tua's gone. $90 million in dead cap. He's gone. Gone.
You can't afford to cut Tua and take on Kyler. Because think about how much that is for the cap. You're cutting Tua at
what about the Raiders?
$80 million. The Raiders could make that move probably. I don't know what their cap situation is, but it's probably very good. it's an option. I think the Saints are another team that could be an option for Kyler should they want to make a move like that because we know they need a quarterback. But again, it's do you want to outright cut Kyler knowing that there's not any quarterbacks available to you in the draft, right? That's the difference here. I understand your point about Denver's done it, but Denver had a plan. I think we'd all admit the plan, even though it was crazy, kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Bro Nix isn't the best quarterback, but he's cheap, he's affordable, and he's doing a much better job than Russell Wilson did. So now you have a situation where if you're the Cardinals, defense is improving, getting stronger week after week, but the offense isn't delivering. Is Fernando Mendoza going to deliver offensively?
What do you think about this comment? Why can't we all just admit the truth? Kyler's been a massive bust. Shouldn't be a starter. Doesn't deserve it either.
I think that's a little bit harsh.
I think it's a little harsh too.
I don't think that quarterbacks are that good in the NFL that Kyler shouldn't have a job.
I agree.
If you were to tell me that Kyler Murray does not love football, Kyler Murray doesn't take it seriously enough, Kyler Murray doesn't prepare enough, Kyler Murray is never going to be a top-tier starter despite the ability that he has, I would 100% agree.
Okay.
Right? I think his limitations are probably work ethic based. And not to say he doesn't work hard. You still have to work hard to be in the NFL. But with the skill set that he has, there is a higher ceiling than he has delivered. Right? And we say that about quarterbacks all the time. But maybe in the right system, he can kind of unlock Kyler a little bit better. I don't know. But definitely the potential has always kind of been there for Kyler. But I think in the same breath, he reminds me a lot of Brock Purdy in the sense that, like, when you hear Brock Purdy talk about offense, he talks about how he has to throw so many blind throws, and Kyler is the exact opposite. He's afraid of making mistakes. He doesn't like to throw over the middle. He's scared to do those things, and it's kind of makes him more limited versus a Purdy that has to play a bit more fearlessly, and that's what's kind of given him more success in the NFL so far. So I think it's a few different things that work against Kyler, but definitely he's just not good enough right now to where you'd say he's even probably top 20 starter in the NFL.
This stat right here, Trey McBride has caught 4 touchdowns in 3 games with Brissett. He caught 5 touchdowns from Kyler Murray across 3 seasons. Like, I hear you with all this money talk, JRich. I just think that at some point it comes to a point where it's like, this isn't working. Okay. He's been here for 7 damn years and it has not worked. We didn't pick this guy. I'm just going to stand 10 toes. I don't think he's the starting quarterback for Arizona next year. I think he's in a new spot. How they do it, how they manipulate it. If I would have told you prior to yesterday, the Colts were going to trade for Sauce Gardner, most people would be like, there's no way they can do that. He just got a $100 million contract. There's no way. There's a way. I'm not worried about no damn cap, dead cap. They figure it out. When have you heard a team just say, oh, we can't do it? Like, they just figure it out. I don't believe.
The Cincinnati Bengals say that just about every week.
Well, Cincinnati, that's why they're dumpster fire, right? Wasting Joe Burrow.
But that's why, like, and that's where I want you to kind of flip the script a bit. You're talking from Ray GQ, right? Dallas fan. But what if you were actually like the GM of the Cardinals? Like, do you really think it's the right move this season to move on from Kyler and start a Jacoby Brissett, trade for a Mac Jones?
They've already
if available,
Jay, I'm just telling you, they've done it. They've already said it.
They're doing it now, like for the rest of this season. But I don't know if you want to go into next season with Jacoby Brissett as your starter.
Hold on.
That's my only thing.
He's not. Let me track me. So he's not good enough to start for the rest of this lost season, right? Not a season in which they're truly in contention. He's not good enough.
Confirmed.
He's not good enough to start now. But next year, right? A year after we benched you, we'll run it back. You'll be good enough then. No,
I mean, but it's no different than what happened to Bryce Young.
It is. No,
it's not. You need to dissociate. It's not any different. Like, it's no different. It's just because you think Andy Dalton's no good and Bryce Young is young.
That was Bryce Young's second season. Kyler's in year 7. We've seen it over and over. It does matter. It does. Jay, I'm telling you, it does matter, man.
If you really think that the right move is to trade Kyler and get rid of him and just start whatever's left, I think that's a big mistake. If we're admitting that Kyler is not a great quarterback, but he's kind of in that Trevor Lawrence tier where you say you probably don't want to get rid of him because he's better than what you're going to have next season. Right? And there's nobody available to you because the draft stinks.
And I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to start. What I'm saying is it has not worked here. They've told you it ain't working now. We need somebody else with this offense. I don't think it's going to work for him in Arizona, and I do believe they are going to try to find another option to better fit what the offensive coordinator and head coach does. That means Kyler Murray, in my opinion, he will be playing quarterback somewhere else in 2026. We'll see how it plays out. I think he's gone. In my opinion,
they need a new OC. The offense sucks.
You know what? But that's the thing. We keep making the excuses for Kyler. Needs a new OC. Needs a new head coach. Needs a wide receiver. Needs a tight end. Needs a run. Need 7 years down the line. Maybe you're the problem in this situation.
I'm not disagreeing with you that Kyler could be the problem, but the offense sucks. Like, it does suck. It's not
Who's
good
the quarterback?
either.
Who's the quarterback? How does it suck? It's the quarterback, right? Offense. It didn't suck last night. It didn't suck on Monday. It hasn't sucked with Jacoby Brissett.
It sucks almost every single week. It's not a good offense. Did it suck
versus Dallas? Did it suck versus Dallas?
It wasn't that. You make it seem like this is a great. It's not that good. It's not that good of an offense.
So he's not the. Let me ask you this: is he the problem or not?
Is Kyler the problem? I don't think he's the sole problem. No. If you're going to blame it all on Kyler, go for it. That's fine. But I don't think I don't think that Drew Petzing is a very good OC. I just don't.
How? Why?
Because if you're a good OC, you are able to maximize the players on your team. If you are a bad OC like Zach Taylor, then you are only able to work with what your players can deliver on a week-to-week basis. That's the difference. Good OCs are able to manufacture offense with their players and maximize their talent. Bad OCs work with what they have and can only get out what they have. Look at the Raiders. Look at, plenty of teams. If you don't have your playmakers, your offense stinks, which is a factor, of course. But good OCs are able to make it work, and it's not like this team doesn't have any playmakers. Why is Marv good now, but he stinks with Kyler? I just don't think that makes a lot of sense if the OC is good and doing his job correctly. It can't all be on the quarterback, in my opinion. I think that Kyler is a big factor, but it can't all be on the quarterback.
All right. Let's continue to keep it going. We'll see where Kyler ends up in 2026, and we'll see how it plays out for him. But right now, Jacoby Brissett's the starter. I think that shine will soon wear off as well, right? I think there's a reason why he's been good enough to come in and be a spot starter, but never really be good enough to hold it long term. Look great versus Dallas, but hell, I think my son's football team could look good versus Dallas's defense. So, Jay, let's keep it pushing and get to some of the trades and what these trades mean from a fantasy football perspective. JRich, let's start off talking about your boy, Rasheed Shaheed, traded to the Seattle Seahawks, coming off of a monster game for the offense on Sunday Night Football, in which Sam Darnold was just dealing, JRich. Sam Darnold getting the ball to everybody. You get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. Cooper Kupp is old. He's got bad hamstrings. Torrey Horton is a rookie. They've got two young tight ends, and they run a lot of 12 personnel. Was there a better trade fit yesterday than Rasheed Shaheed to the Seattle Seahawks?
Not offensively, no. Rasheed Shaheed to the Seahawks is the best offensive trade we had yesterday by a mile. Reintroducing him into the Kubiak system, which he learned all of last season and operated in all of last season with Chris Olave. Now, instead of Chris Olave, it's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba, and his role, and especially for fantasy purposes, you should expect him to hit the ground running fairly quickly. I'm not really sure how it's going to impact Torrey Horton because, again, if you're going to trade for Shaheed, Kubiak's going to know how he wants to utilize him already. I think Shaheed knows how he's going to be utilized within this offense. It's going to be how quickly can he gel with Sam Darnold and acclimate fully to the offense, because there will be some changes from last season and things will be a little bit different. But from a wholesale perspective, it's great for Sam Darnold. It's great for the offense, and you probably do see them running a few more wide receiver sets out there because they have Shaheed now. Maybe Horton can get involved. Cooper Kupp's injury is probably a bit more serious as a result. But adding a player like Shaheed that knows the offense and can fit within the scope of the offense, I think is great for the Seahawks, because they're a team that has a great defense. They've been firing offensively, and they aren't slowing down, and they're not taking their foot off the gas. Getting Shaheed only makes this offense even better. I'm just curious how it works out for fantasy, because he is changing teams, but he is changing teams to a system and a coach that he knows very well from last season.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit, man. It's a great fit. Since 2024, Sam Darnold, PFF's highest graded thrower of passes 20+ yards down the field. Rasheed Shaheed was the highest graded wide receiver since 2023 in receptions 20+ yards down the field. So this is a great fit. And I think the real winner, Jay, is not really Shaheed per se, but it's Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold was the big winner. You get him another explosive playmaker to pair with Jackson Smith and Jigba. They already lead the league in 12 personnel usage, which means they're playing 2 wide receivers on the field more than anybody else in the league. And they are incredibly successful out of that offensive set. They've got 2 very good tight ends in A.J. Barner and Elijah Arroyo. They complement each other very well. We saw both of those guys get in the action. Hell, they put A.J. Barner at quarterback to let him QB sneak it in for a rushing touchdown. But talk about this move and, Jay, I'm going to say the confidence that they seemingly are showing in Sam Darnold to be the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks team. I know he's on, I believe, a 3-year deal, but that deal is essentially like a 1-year deal.
They're going to have to rip it up after the season.
Yeah, they're going to have to rip it up, right? He's going to have to get another contract extension. Who's the big winner? Do you think it was Shaheed? Do you think it was Darnold? Do you think it's JSN? Or Seattle's offense as a whole was the big winner?
I do think Seattle's offense as a whole is a big winner. And I think the other side of it that we didn't even talk about is the running game, right? For everything they've done through the air, the running game has struggled a little bit. If they're able to just kind of open things up and run a bit more 11 personnel, right? Get this offense more spread out, open those running lanes a bit more for the offense, you could see even better balance than they've shown over the last few weeks. Darnold has been dealing regardless, whether the running game has been good or bad, depending on how Walker's playing, depending on how Charbonnet is playing. But maybe adding Shaheed forces the safeties back a little bit further because he can take the top off the defense along with JSN, right? So I'm curious how it works out for JSN. It's not going to impact his target share by any stretch, but it may even open up things for him as well because Shaheed is going to open up this offense a bit more. It is going to force safeties back. It is going to hopefully open things up for the running game. But so as an offensive whole, I do think that Shaheed adds an element that they just didn't have. When you have JSN running deep routes, yes, he can be successful, but Shaheed can be much more successful while still having a dynamic playmaker like JSN over the middle and in that intermediate. So I think as a whole, it just makes this offense significantly better. And I'm curious how it all comes together, but it looks great for the Seahawks right now. And in my opinion, maybe pushing them towards being NFC contenders for the Super Bowl, because the way they look right now, I'm not going to say Darnold's going to look like this all season because we've seen this before from Darnold. I'm not saying he's going to collapse, but I think this is a drastically different situation than we had in Minnesota last year, because there was times last year when Darnold did look a little bit shaky, right? Mm-hmm. And this year, he seemed unflappable. He seemed extremely confident. And even when he's not playing at his best, he has a defense that can play great for him as well.
So I got the usage for Seattle and New Orleans overlaid on top of one another for when Rasheed Shaheed was in New Orleans. And take a look at, just kind of look at the usage. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba by far. He's number 1 in overall usage for all pass catchers in the NFL. 9.25 Trinity scores. Absolutely nuts. Rasheed Shaheed inside of New Orleans' offense. Just look at, this is why it's the best visualization tool, Jay, because if I told you Chris Olave and I'm just saying another receiver are both wide receiver 1s on their team, look at what the wide receiver 1 in New Orleans is getting versus the wide receiver 1 in Seattle, right? Better offense, better quarterback, better environment. But Shaheed plugged in right here. 6.89 score, 11 points per game, a little below the line. Here goes the second leader in receiving for Seattle for the season, Cooper Kupp. So I'm not expecting Shaheed to drop back down here. He might be right around in this range, but when you're just looking at where he might be able to plug in to Seattle's offense, and we'll take New Orleans off of the screen and just look at Seattle. Look at this. This is for the whole season, right? It's for the whole season. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Nobody else. Even the 2 touchdowns from Torrey Horton didn't move him up significantly. He's still back here, not getting used at the level that you want for a weekly, consistent fantasy starter. So there's a lot of stuff in between this Seattle offense that could, I don't think anything is going to pull away from Jackson Smith and Jigba, but complement him better than what Cooper Kupp is doing right now, which you see him outside of that wide receiver 3 band and below the regression line, which lets you know he is not maximizing the opportunity in the targets and the volume that he gets. So I think this is a great fit for Shaheed in Seattle. Offensive coordinator knows his skill set, and I think it will free up things for JSN and other parts of the offense. So love that fit of Rasheed Shaheed to the
Seahawks.
To the Seattle Seahawks, JRich. All right, another trade, big trade, Jay. Sauce Gardner, gone, out of there. Ship him off. He's going to Indianapolis to play for the Colts, taking his talents to a team that is currently 7-2. It was a little bit of a fire sale for the Jets, and I think they did good work. They got back 2 first-round picks and a wide receiver for Sauce Gardner, and that is where I want to focus our attention, JRich. It's on our boy, Antoine Pierce. JRich, Adnan Mitchell, gone. They drafted him in the 2nd round last year. A lot of people thought, A.D. Mitchell, that's going to replace Alec Pierce. He's going to be the big X downfield stretcher for the Indianapolis Colts. And so far this season, Alec Pierce has been outstanding. He's continuing to develop. He's a big play option for him. We saw him get fed to the tune of 13 targets last week as they were trying to come back against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're not going to focus on Sauce and the defensive side of the ball. But what do you think this signals for Alec Pierce? And Jay, I know it was a pumpkin game last Sunday, but I think the big winner again from this trade, Daniel Jones. You don't trade 2 first-round picks for a cornerback if you're a little uncertain about your current QB situation. Daniel Jones is getting an extension from the Indianapolis Colts. He is going to get paid a lot of money to be their quarterback of the future. If you were able to get him for peanuts, you're probably feeling great in Dynasty because not only is he a top scorer in the league, he's a part of a good offense. I love the offensive environment, the situation. There was a meme out there. There was a video, man, and it was somebody that was a former Giants fan, and it was Daniel Jones, and it was pre-snap, and he's looking around, and the tweet was like, I know that face. I've seen that face 100 times over again. That's when Daniel Jones is out there seeing ghosts, and he had a shit game versus Pittsburgh. Talk about this move. Sauce, 2 first-round picks. Adnan Mitchell, gone. Are you have any interest in him in New York? What do you think about Antoine Pierce and Daniel Jones?
Yeah, this one is really interesting because, we talked about it on BR yesterday, and I'm really curious what the chat thinks. Because for me, this is a slam dunk, home run, A-plus trade for the Jets. I love it for the Jets. The Jets are going nowhere. They're paying Sauce a ton of money next season, and they're able to get out of just about all of it. I believe it only is $20 million towards their dead cap next year. We know they're going nowhere. We know they suck. We know they need to rebuild. They got 2 first-round picks for Sauce, and they obviously made subsequent trades after that. I think it's a slam dunk trade for the Jets. It is a vote of confidence in Shane Steichen, in Daniel Jones, and in this Colts team for this season. But it's very surprising because we had a deal from Dallas coming off let's be honest, a bad loss against the Cardinals. And we had a very surprising move from the Colts to solidify this secondary, which was necessary, coming off a loss to Pittsburgh, right? Not a very good loss at that. When we're talking about Daniel Jones, you say he's going to be extended. They got to have him on this team. He's probably their quarterback of the future. A move like this signifies that. But it doesn't mean that I'm sold that Daniel Jones is playing at the level of Sam Darnold right now. Because after 1 week, he's not, right? If you get the Daniel Jones of somewhere in between what we've seen and what we got against Pittsburgh, that's not a quarterback that you buy into and trade 2 first-round picks to solidify your team for. It's a this-year move, and I'm curious how it all plays out, but I absolutely love this trade for the Jets. I think the Jets got a steal of a trade here. I hope it works out for Indy. I hope they can go far in the playoffs, but I definitely have some concerns over whether or not Daniel Jones could be the guy. It's great for Pierce because he's probably getting an extension. We've talked about it since, 2023. This guy plays 94% of snaps, and he never gets the ball.
Yep.
But you know what? He's on the field, and Shane Steichen clearly likes him a lot and probably going to continue to play, and only 25 years old. I don't mind buying into A.D. Mitchell. Again, what are you paying? Very little, if anything.
Excuse me?
What?
80, you're buying in A.D. Mitchell in New York?
I'm fine with it, yeah, because they don't have anybody. They have Garrett Wilson. They also traded for John Mechie, who's also there now. And they have A.D. Mitchell, who they traded for. So it's like taking a shot on the Jets pass catchers is not a bad move, in my opinion, because you just never know what they're going to become in multiple seasons, right? He's still under contract for, another 3 years. And depending on who they have at quarterback, OC, etc., it could be a buy low and just kind of hold down the line. I don't hate that at all. But yeah, Pierce is a player that is interesting because we both like him, but he doesn't get a lot of volume. You're probably not starting him too often, and it's just how does he fit within the offense? But the question to you is because
you're starting him every week. You should be.
I mean, he has 24 receptions on the season. So you can start him every week if you want, but he still hasn't scored, even though he has 500 yards. It's crazy. But question to you is, because you sit on a different side of this. So what are you doing in respects to Alec Pierce, in respects to Daniel Jones, and how would you view this trade going forward?
I think Daniel Jones is the long-term starter for the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to get a new contract. I think you're being... he's played pretty damn good football this year. They lost the game.
He has played.
They lost the game, right? Patrick Mahomes looked awful too versus Buffalo. Like this,
But
to
he's
erase
Patrick Mahomes. He's not
8
Daniel
weeks
Jones.
The point is, everybody has a bad game. Like to say, oh, he had it and it's all his fault. And no, every team, every player. Jonathan Taylor didn't do shit either versus Pittsburgh. The Colts. Did you watch the game? The answer is probably no. The offensive line got wrecked. I saw him
turn the ball over 6 times.
Did you watch the game? The answer is no. The offensive line was dominated from the start, from the very beginning. They had one success when he ran the ball in and they pushed everybody in the end zone. That was the best the line did all day, right? That was the best the line did all day. But to be like, oh, now he's not playing good, so I don't think you really want to buy in. You weren't saying that for the first 8 weeks. You didn't say that the first 8 weeks, but one game now, man, I don't know now. The
thing is that, but this is where you're falling into the same Sam Darnold trap from last season.
Did you not say Darnold's good right now? Better MVP?
I said that I don't believe that Daniel Jones is playing at the level of Sam Darnold. I have a lot more faith in Sam Darnold today than I do in Daniel Jones. And you can attest to this better than anybody, because I don't even know if I said it as much on the show, but from probably about week 9 on, I was telling you that what I see on film is a shaky Darnold in second halves and a player who's playing well, but if everything fell apart, I wouldn't be surprised. So it's like, I hear where you're coming from, but you can't fall into the same trap again where it's like, this is the long-term answer. We're going to give him a big contract. He's our quarterback of the future. And it took 2 weeks for people to say, I don't know about that Sam Darnold. Maybe we should go back to J.J. McCarthy. Maybe we shouldn't extend him, because that's the NFL. You're only as good as your last performance on the field, especially if you're not a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson. That's Daniel Jones' reality. He's played great football. But if the second half looked a bit more like Pittsburgh than it did the first 8 weeks, we shouldn't be shocked either, because it's Daniel Jones. And that's all I'm saying. I hear you, and he's played well, but he's still Daniel Jones. And I think that's the problem. You have to balance that, and you have to make that decision yourself. I, in a league, traded away Sam Darnold and kept Daniel Jones, right? So again, that's where I was at a few weeks ago. I said, you know what? I'll trade the Sam Darnold. I'll keep Daniel Jones because I like Steichen a lot. And I'm not a big fan of the Seattle offensive line and Kubiak and all that stuff. But even still, you have to recognize, like, there is possibility for some downside here. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know if I'm all in on Daniel Jones as the way that you're all in on Daniel Jones.
Is there not possibility for downside in every offense, Jay?
Absolutely. So, but we know how bad the downside is for Jones, because we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand, multiple seasons.
In New York, not in Indianapolis.
He's played 1 year in Indy.
All I said is you've seen the downside in New York. What is factually incorrect about that?
Yeah. But it doesn't matter where it is.
But did we not just say offensive coordinators and did we not just have that full-blown conversation about situations and OCs? He's not in New York.
But what do you always say? A leopard can't change his spots, right? So is Daniel Jones a zebra now?
I didn't say he was a zebra.
Well, what is he? Is he a leopard? Is he a lion? Is he a cheetah?
Did we not see Daniel Jones play well in New York ever? Did we ever see him play well in New York?
He did play well in New York. He did.
Okay. So
he
had a bad game. They had a bad game. He was stank. Jonathan Taylor couldn't do anything. The O-line decimated. Defensively, they couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers. It was a bad day. Teams get their asses beat sometimes. You just get beat down, right?
Yeah, of course. But is it a blip on the radar, or is it something that could become an issue? That's all I'm saying. And I'm not here to tell you that I'm all in on Daniel Jones. I'm just you're all in on that Kyler Murray. We got to go to break. After break, we got to talk about some more trades, some more fantasy fallout. Run it up, hit the thumbs up button, like the stream. We'll be back after the break.
GMGP, welcome back in. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, every single Friday. If you're in the stream, hit the thumbs up button, run it up, the algorithm for us. And if you're new and you watch and you pull up and you tap in and you aren't subscribed, do that. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the podcast feed. We got a bunch of content. Jay, I think we've got close to 8-9 shows coming out across the airwaves, probably more than that every single week. So make sure you're subscribed to the Wake Up podcast feed and the DD Radio podcast feed, anywhere you can find your pods at. Later today, JRich, about what do you think? Later this afternoon, Trinity, today?
Yeah, it'll come mid to late afternoon. I'll drop it.
Okay, yeah, mid to late afternoon. Check out the usage.
Something like that.
What'd you say?
Members only now. I think it's like 4 o'clock comes out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, members got it right now. Scott and I went an hour going through just situations across the NFL with pass catchers and usage. So make sure you check that out. That will be on the YouTube channel, DDFFB, later today, and the podcast radio feed. Also, Scott, Connor, and Brandon, they were on talking about dynasty takeaways following Week 9 fantasy football action. They're live every Monday around 6 p.m., Jay? 6 p.m.?
Yeah, they're usually around 6:15, depending on the time.
Yeah, all right. So check them out every single Monday. And then our premium live stream, our PLS, our big main event that we are running next Wednesday. It will be the whole squad. November 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me, JRich, Scott, Shane, Brandon, Ty, the whole crew. We've got a main event, midseason mayhem, 3 hours of straight fantasy football talk, startups, auction advice, rookie draft content, Trinity, giveaways, engagement with y'all. We're going to have a good time. We're going to do multiple of these throughout the year. This is the first one that we're running, so make sure you are tapped in next Wednesday night for the super stream with the whole DD crew. JRich, we got more to talk about, man. We got more to talk about. This one I got people said I was on Yahoo. I didn't agree with that Matt Harmon. I didn't agree with that Matt Harmon, and you know, he loved the fit, and it probably is a good fit. I think my question, though, Jay, is what does it mean, Brian Windhorst, right? What does it mean here? What does it mean? Because the Jacksonville Jaguars made a move. They traded a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick, JRich. Those are two decent, decent capital
assets, yeah.
Yeah, to go get Jacoby Meyers. To go get a wide receiver. I didn't think that they would do this, but with Travis Hunter on IR, Brian Thomas Jr., I believe, low ankle sprain. They're saying it's not that big of a deal. Brenton Strange, I think he's coming back soon. The Jags keep telling us Travis Hunter's ankle, his knee is okay. Like, it's not, he's avoided major injury, not that serious. But when Liam Cohen is talking, he's like, I don't know if he'll be back for the play. I don't know if he's going to be back for the push.
At all, basically.
Making this move, what does this signify? Is this a move more to hedge against Travis Hunter? Are they hedging against Brian Thomas Jr.? Or are they hedging against both of these receivers and saying, we really ain't got a guy, so we need to find somebody? Everybody's favorite waiver wire pickup this week, Parker Washington. You might as well get you a glass of cold water and pour it right on there. Bring it down, right? Because that hard-on is dissipated for Parker Washington going into Week 10. I still think he's going to be a usable asset in this offense. The deal, Meyers to the Jags. What were your thoughts when you saw this trade and your initial takeaways? Is this good for Meyers? Is this good? Because he still got Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
I know it's a couple of people that Keegan in the chat loves that T-Law. Right? Too harsh on Trevor Lawrence. Too harsh on that T-Law. What do you think this signifies? What does this mean, JRich?
I think it just screams delusional front office, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense. We didn't talk about the Shaheed compensation. The Shaheed compensation was a 4th and a 5th round pick back to the Saints for Shaheed. You ask me if I can trade a 4th and a 5th for Shaheed or a 4th and a 6th for Jacoby Meyers. The answer is Rasheed Shaheed by a mile, and it's not even particularly close. You asked about Travis Hunter and Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange went on the IR on October 10th. He's expected to miss 5 weeks with that quad and hip injury. So he's probably still at least a week away, maybe even 2. And I don't know if they've opened his return to practice window just yet, but we should find that out probably today, actually.
Yeah,
if
probably
they
today.
Did. Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. expected to play in Week 10 in Houston, so good luck with that. Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't been good without a low ankle sprain. Not sure he'll be much better with the low ankle sprain. Jacoby Meyers in Jacksonville is interesting, right? You have to imagine they have a role for him. what that role is interesting because you have to figure that Parker Washington factored into the offense a lot. He's still going to be the guy for at least a couple weeks. I don't think Jacoby Meyers is going to come in and just command 10 targets a game because even when everyone's fully healthy, it's probably some realm of Brian Thomas Jr. or Parker Washington as the one. I think Brenton Strange will probably be the 2. And then depending on how things go, maybe Jacoby could be the 3. But do you feel any differently in that respect? Because for me, it makes no sense. This team can be fine, can be a middle-of-the-pack team. They're going for that playoff push. I get it. But, I don't think you needed to add to this offense in order to win football games.
De'Ami Brown is hurt. Okay, he's got a concussion. Strange is out. Hunter's out. So they're down 3 pass catchers. 3 starting pass catchers.
Yeah.
BTJ is a little hobbled. You got P. Wash. The tight ends, can you even name who it is? Do you even know who it is behind Trey?
Starting? No idea.
Hunter Long, I think, and he's dropping
Morris,
passes.
Apparently. He's questionable right now.
Who?
Quentin Morris. Remember him?
Oh, he was in Buffalo, wasn't he?
He was in Buffalo, yeah.
He was in Buffalo.
He was back up there in Buffalo for a while.
We'll see. I wish Jacoby Meyers landed somewhere else. We knew he was going to get moved. I thought he was going to go to...
I wish he went to Pittsburgh.
I thought he was going to Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh would be in the market for a wide receiver opposite DK Metcalf.
But that's where it's crazy, right? So you talk about Pittsburgh. They wanted him. Buffalo wanted him.
Buffalo would have been dope.
But the Jags paid the highest price.
Yeah.
So isn't that crazy? You think about that from that... Even as much as we dog on Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh got Jacoby Meyers, I would feel much more confident about their offense. Maybe not, in the next couple of weeks because he's got to acclimate, but I'd feel much better having Metcalf and Meyers and hopefully a stable running game, Rodgers running the show, and praying for an improved defense. Because when you have Aaron Rodgers, you gotta go for it. And we know that Tomlin wants to go for it. But if you're being outbid by the Jags, it's so be it, man. Are the Jags going to beat us? If you're Pittsburgh, probably not. Are the Jags going to beat us? If we're Buffalo, hell no. And so it's to me, it's kind of crazy. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the playoffs, all this kind of stuff, be aggressive, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Even for fantasy, I don't like it for fantasy. He's playing with Lawrence. Lawrence can barely support 1 pass catcher a game. Is it going to be Meyers? I don't think so. Not for a few weeks. It'll probably be Parker Washington. So if you have Parker Washington, I'm holding on to him. I'm letting him play on my team. I'm probably going to start him because he's probably going to be the wide receiver 1. I don't know if Jacoby
Meyers Meyers or Parker.
Parker.
Jay, I think so too. I think it's still Parker Washington is the primary. What does this do for Meyers' fantasy ceiling? Because we're not talking about goddamn Amon-Ra St. Brown here, okay? We're not talking about Puka Nacua, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jett. We're not talking about that caliber of receiver to go command it. He's never been that. He's a good wide receiver, but he ain't that guy. How much better is he for this offense right now going into week 10 than Parker Washington?
He's not. For this offense, he's not better for the offense because he doesn't know the offense, right? He's going to have to learn.
Let's say he knows it. Just say he knows it. Parker Washington, Jacoby.
He's an asset. He's an asset, but he's not. I would never rank him ahead of Parker Washington. I just wouldn't do it because Trevor Lawrence barely goes to anybody.
Isn't Meyers a better Parker?
Sure.
I mean, Washington's been pretty good when they give him the ball. Just being real. I know he's not. I know he doesn't have the draft capital. I know he doesn't have the shine, right? Because he was behind BTJ and Travis Hunter. But when they throw him the ball, good things typically happen in Jacksonville. Here's why I am not as enthused about the deal, JRich. And we can have our personal takes on the players. We can do all that we want. But one thing that we cannot dispute is the usage, right? That thing it is what it is. You might not like it. You may think it's going to change. But one thing you cannot do is argue with what this offense has done. And here it is right on the screen. When you're talking about the pass catchers for Jacksonville, the most utilized wide receiver for the entirety of the season has been BTJ. 6.22, averaging 10 points per game. After that, you've got Brenton Strange, who hasn't been active in weeks, 8 points per game with a 5 Trinity score. Parker Washington, 4.6, the only one that's at the line. Parker Washington, 4.6, 8 points per game. De'Ami Brown, 4, 6, 7 points per game. Hunter Long, 2, 9. Travis, you know what I mean? Like Jay, what? Why am I excited about this offense, right? Like, why am I excited about this offense? This isn't what a good offense, you know what, I'm going to just show you. This is what a good offense looks like. Look at this. Look at Jacksonville, and I'm just going to go high end.
Right?
Look at Dallas. When they're all above the line, everybody, there's not a single player except who's this? Who is that? Luke Schoonmaker, the only one in Dallas's rotation that is kind of below the regression line. Everybody's doing what they need to do when they're throwing the ball. And then you've got 3 pass catchers exceeding expectation for the volume that they've been given, right? Want to see another good offensive environment, JRich? Want to see another good offensive environment? Your boy that you hate, Daniel Jones. You got 4 guys being utilized very high. Alec Pierce below the line. Love buying guys that are utilized in that blue band and below the line because positive regression is there. The usage is there. Just got to get some more action in the end zone. Do a little more with it. Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, all up there, nothing back there. That's what a good offensive environment looks like, JRich. That's what a good offensive environment looks like. Kansas City, good God. I mean, it's all Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Hollywood, everybody at the line or above the line. Those are what good offenses look like. You're not going to sell me that the addition of Jacoby Meyers is going to flip this shit.
Just inefficient, poor quarterback play. And Ray, you have to touch on as well. Like, it's not just that they're below the line, which, again, is part of it. A lot of it comes down to touchdowns. You see Alec Pierce, no touchdowns based off his usage, would get him much closer to that regression line. But it's also just being further up the chart, right? Like being further along, having that higher Trinity score just indicates higher upside in terms of fantasy points potential and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's just such a nothing trade. It's a trade they needed to make out of necessity. I get it. They have a ton of draft picks, but like I don't think people should be going out and trading for Jacoby Meyers in fantasy. I don't think people should be trading for T-Law. I don't think people are any more excited about this Jaguars offense than they were
somebody's
the day
challenge.
before.
They want to see the last 2 weeks. Show them last 2 weeks, Ray
Yeah,
G.
you should.
Okay.
Because Parker Washington,
cool. Last
he's
2
got
weeks.
Some good numbers last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks for Jacksonville. Still stank. That's what it looks like. It's P-Wash, still below the line, then BTJ, then De'Ami Brown, then nothing else. Hey, that's what it look. That's Jacksonville's usage. That's it, Jay. That's the last 2 weeks, man. That's the last 2. Want to go last 3? Like it won't change. I'm here to tell you right now.
You got that Parker Washington.
It doesn't look any different,
good, though.
Right? P. Wash was getting used. Nobody else, man.
Good.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I like Jacoby Meyers a lot. I hope it works out. I've got little confidence in your boy Trevor Lawrence.
Me too. Where are you at on Liam Cohen, Ray? Think he's doing a good job?
Huh?
I said, where are you at on Liam Cohen? You think he's doing a good job?
Here's Keegan. Oh my. Give T-Law weapons and he's a top 3 guy.
He just got a weapon, Keegan. We're giving him a weapon. Give him Jacoby Meyers.
Keegan, man. Why do you do Keegan? Why do you do this, man? Why do you
Why are you the way that you are?
Why are you the way that you are? We love you. Thank you for being part of the show. But why do you do this? Every day. It's something ridiculous. Give him he's got weapons.
His weapons are league average, probably. Maybe even a bit better than league average.
I don't want to hear it. I'm not trying to hear about T-Law and his weapons, JRich. All right, what else we got? Any other trade stuff? I mean, we didn't talk about
go to Dallas.
We didn't talk about Big Quinn Williams, but
buddy.
I love the deal. I don't think Dallas overpaid at all. I would happily give up a 27 first-round pick, a 26 second-round pick, and Mozzie Smith to get Quinn Williams, a 27-year-old former All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowl.
First, though?
What'd you say?
Would you have rather traded your 26 first?
Sure, but you know what, man? They still got 2.
It feels like Jerry is just like, I don't want to give up this year's first because we can use that to build up the team. But he doesn't know that the 27 class is actually a lot better than the
27 class is better, but
right?
but they only gave up 1. They still have another 27 first. They've got 2 first round picks in 2026. And this idea that just because you draft a first rounder, they're going to be good. I'd venture to say you're probably not finding anybody in that pick range better than Quinn Williams. You're probably not. You're probably not. I think this is a massive upgrade for Dallas, at least for this year. Their interior defensive line is great. And how does this translate to fantasy? Well, you know what? Sometimes when I was listening to who was I listening to talk about this? I think it was Gerald McCoy. Listen to Gerald McCoy talk about how having strong defense actually does help the offense, right? Even though you may not think about it, but having a defense that can give your offense opportune starting for good field position, create turnovers, pressure the quarterback, give you more possessions in a game, that can impact and does impact the offensive side of the ball. So right now, Dallas, Quinn Williams, they go get Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson, he's better than what was there. He's not great, but he was better than what was there. The Marvin Overshown, his window to return is opened up. He's going to be back at practice. So if this defense could just get a smidge better, give Dak and CeeDee Lamb and those boys another opportunity or two a game, I love the move for Dallas, man. Of all the moves that were made, like I really do think this one, even if it's not this is a good now and later play for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the part that people aren't seeing, is that it really is a play not just for this season, but also for next season, and the way they can build this team now. They took the money that could have went to Micah Parsons, and now they're spreading it amongst multiple players on the defense, and it's going to make their defense better as a whole. You know, we talk about it all the time because Denver is like the gold standard. And it doesn't matter how bad Bo Nix plays. This team is always in it. They always have a chance because they're always forcing turnovers, generating sacks. They keep the field position in favor for the Broncos. And when you're the Cowboys, and every time, where are they starting? 25-yard line. 30
I know. Yeah.
Or inside their 15 because they give up 20 yards and then the team can punt it to the 10. Like that starting field position, it all matters. And having a better defense makes a team drastically better. So that's why it's going to make a big difference for this team. The question is whether they can do enough this season to make the playoffs. It feels like probably not. And I'm sure what Jerry's hoping for. But if you can build into next season, I think it could make Dallas a very attractive place for potential free agents as well.
I think so. And the play is not for 20. They're not winning shit in 25. Not Dallas. They're not winning nothing in 25. Go ahead and build up, stack up for 26. Shout out to Ron Stewart, man. Good friend, man. Ron Stewart doing his damn thing. Check out his content. He's a beast, man. Ron Stewart in the building. He says, shout out New York, New Jersey, man. Jet the F up, man. And you thought the Jets had the best day. Like just wrapping up the trade. You thought the Jets had the best day. The only thing I guess that could have made it better, and I don't know how Jets fans feel. You know, Breece Hall, there are pretty strong reports that the Kansas City Chiefs were offering a fourth. Jets said, need that third. They was being stingy crazy, in them trade. They was acting like one of our Heisman members, Big Diaz, man. That dude right there is going to penny pinch you to shit to try to get that trade done. They were not budging off of a third-round pick. What do you expect? So can New York, can they tag Breece Hall if they wanted to? Because he doesn't have a or is he an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year? Did they miss their window to secure him?
Depends on who you ask, right? I mean, if you're Breece Hall, you're not going back unless you're franchised. Right?
But
there's no way.
What I'm asking is not what Breece Hall wants to do. If the Jets wanted to retain them, could they franchise him?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, they could. I mean, who else are they franchising?
Do they franchise tag running backs?
I don't know what the number would
like,
be.
Who does
it'd probably be like, the thing is with franchise tagging running backs is that it's not expensive.
It's not expensive.
Right?
Yeah.
It's probably like $10 million.
And he's still playing on his rookie deal, and he was a second-round pick. So
yeah.
I don't know.
The projected running back franchise tag is, it's $14 million now because the Derrick Henry raise and the Saquon Barkley raise. So but $14 million for one season is not a big deal. You don't want to give the running back like $30 million guaranteed, or $35 million guaranteed over multiple seasons. Like that's not what you want to do. But yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to at $14 million, but this team is paying nobody. They're going nowhere. If they want to make Breece Hall's life hell because he's very outspoken, he's been talking about wanting to be traded. Like that to me, I think is the interesting part about it. Is like, did he hurt himself too much by being so outspoken about wanting out? Right? To where it's like, they're not going to pay our price, we're not going to move you. And I'd be curious how they feel about that.
If I'm just going to say this, man, if I'm the Jets, and I'm going to pull this up, Jay, I'm going to pull up Tankathon, okay? And let's look at the projected draft order right now. So this is the projected 26 draft order. You got the Saints at the top, Titans, the Jets, the Dolphins. I think for the most part, the teams 9 through 10, that's probably gonna be your top 10 in some order. I don't believe I don't think Baltimore is gonna finish, bottom of the league to have a top 10 pick. I don't believe that, Jay. The Rams from Atlanta's pick, that could be high. Arizona, Houston, and then you get to your sort of your playoff spot. Kansas City, I think, will be in the playoffs. Chicago's pushing for a wild card spot. So the Jets currently have the 3rd overall pick, and then based on, Super Bowl teams, they've got Indianapolis down here at 32. So they've got 2 first-round picks. The Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. The Rams have 2 first-round picks. I think there are 4 teams upcoming in Cleveland. Yeah, 4 teams with multiple first-round picks this year. If I'm the Jets and I'm building this thing out, you know what I'm probably not doing, Jay? You know what I'm not doing?
Not spending that 3rd overall pick.
I'm not drafting Fernando Mendoza at the top of the draft. I'm probably not doing it, okay? They've got... can you not manipulate? Because if let's just say the Saints is this order. Saints take a quarterback, Titans go somewhere else, the Jets are sitting there at 3. Do you build with the best player? They've spent a lot of money on their offensive line, and I think their O-line is something that you can build around and grow. They have a rushing attack. You got 2 young running backs. You got G-Dub locked up. I think the Jets are a prime landing spot for a veteran quarterback, even if it's a bridge type situation, whether that be Kyler. No, people don't want to hear that, right? Mac Jones, maybe.
I would have to trade for Mac Jones.
Got to trade for Mac, but I don't think he would cost a lot. There are probably 5 or 6 other retread quarterbacks that we've talked about that I think could come in and operate the offense and allow them to use this draft capital to build other areas of their team, because they're going to have to replace cornerback, right? You let Sauce go. At some point, you got to address that. You've got to address that. You need another op. You can't have damn Alan Lazard and company. He's on the trade block. Like, nobody wants him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, people don't even want to give you a 4th round pick for him in fantasy football. So you're not getting shit for Alan Lazard on the market, but you got to find somebody next to Garrett Wilson. They do have a young tight end in Mason Taylor. I think this is the year based on what I've seen in college football. There's 1 quarterback, 2 if Ty Simpson declares he's going to be a 1st round pick. Mendoza's the one that you project to be the first one off the board, but after that, I don't think it's Dante Moore. I know Jason agrees with me in the chat. Shout out my dog Jason. I'm talking to people who actually watch college ball. Dante Moore is not a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. He's not a top 5 quarterback. No. I don't think any of these guys are better than Jackson Dart. I don't think anybody in 26 is even better than Jackson Dart, Jay. So it's going to be very interesting if you don't have a large... Look at how many teams need a quarterback right here. Top 10, how many teams need a quarterback, JRich? List them off.
New Orleans, Tennessee, the Giants, Miami, or sorry, not the Giants, the Jets, Miami, Cleveland, Vegas. Yeah, there's a lot, man.
Did you say Tennessee?
I did say Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, New Orleans, the Jets, Miami, the Browns, the Raiders. That's 5 right there. If Arizona moves on from Kyler, they'll need a quarterback, right? They'll need a quarterback. You may not like it, but if I'm Indianapolis, if I'm Seattle, I'm locking up Sam Darnold. I'm locking up Daniel Jones. I don't want to play this game next year.
But I think the problem too, Ray, is like, not only do all these teams need quarterbacks, but like no one's going to be trying to trade up in this draft. Like, I don't know, maybe there's some great defensive players who'll be available. Peter Woods will be available probably in the top 5.
Look at Ron. Look at Ron in the chat.
See? Ron knows.
Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop.
Ron gets it,
You
man.
and Ron got to stop this.
A.D. Mitchell's going to be
both of y'all got to stop.
Year, not next year.
Both of y'all have to stop.
2027,
Stop
4th year breakout.
Stop.
A.D. Mitchell is coming.
Stop.
It's happening. It's
Stop.
happening, Ray.
Stop.
It's going to be great. Just get excited. You don't got to be a hater, man. It's okay. They play in the AFC. Right? They're not going to impact your Dallas Cowboys.
Stop.
Right? A.D. Mitchell can be a thing, and we can love it, and it'll be great.
Well, we know Mac is under contract. We're saying that we keep saying if you go get Mac, you'll have to trade for Mac, right?
Trade for him. Yeah,
what's he cost? What's Mac cost? A 4th? 5th?
No.
2nd?
No, he's a 2nd.
He's a 2nd?
You think about it this way. If you sign Mac Jones, how much are you going to have to pay him? You can get Mac Jones for less than 30 or 40 million.
What did Darnold
Baker
sign for in Seattle? What was the Darnold
Baker was 33 guaranteed, $100 million over 3 years. That's probably a 3rd round comp pick, right? So if they lose him to a team who signs him after 26, they'll probably get a 4th or a 3rd round comp pick because he's going to get a solid contract, right? And because of that, you're not going to trade him for probably less than two-thirds,
okay, Keegan.
All right,
okay, Keegan, we'll entertain it. JRich, take it away. Why not ride with Fields? What? Let me just can I just give you an offensive situation?
Okay.
If they legit turn this into he's going to run it 10 to 12 times every single game, right? It's RPO. If he breaks, he breaks. What did Ivan Drago say? If he dies, he dies, right? Do you just if you let Fields just run and just use the RPO game to get the ball out quickly, could it work? I feel like the issue is when he's got to try to drive. At some point, you got to throw the ball. I get it, right? And it's an adventure,
football, right? That's
it's an adventure. But if he were more of could you not just ride Fields one more season, Jay?
You could. He's under contract. He's being paid like $20 million next season, so it's possible. And especially for a team that's going nowhere, doing nothing, why not just start Justin Fields for another season? Especially if you don't draft a quarterback. Like you said, you probably bring in someone to at least compete with Fields. Maybe it's Tyrod, maybe it's not. Maybe they go another direction in terms of backup or projected backup quarterback other than Fields. But we kind of know that he's not that good.
Yeah.
And so it's
in the owner, right? The owner too, my bad. The owner talked about him too, Jay. Doesn't that hurt?
But is the owner gonna pay $20 million to get rid of him, knowing that this team is no good? If the plan is
look, is the team? Do we know that I know they're 1-7, man. I know they're 1-7, but they've been competitive in a lot of games, man. The Denver Broncos are leading the AFC, and had Fields been able to complete a pass, they win that game, JRich. But
that's the case every time you play the Broncos. That's the case with Davis Mills last week. That's the case with Jackson Dart a few weeks ago. That's the case every time you play the Broncos because the Broncos offense sucks.
I know.
And Bo Nix has been terrible. But you look to the last few weeks, right? Justin Fields, 45 yards against the Broncos, 46 yards against the Panthers. And then 244 because
rushing yards?
No, passing. Then he threw for 244 against the Bengals. But again, it's the Bengals, so you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt.
No Fields. No Fields. No Fields. I agree with this. I know Ron's watching a little college football. He said a sneaky good class to take day 2-3 shots in 26. I agree.
Yes.
Because every name that he's listed here, Jay, I've been doing this for a while. I have not seen, and y'all, if y'all want to have a fun exercise while you're sitting on the toilet, you ain't got nothing to do, type into Google preseason NFL mock draft 2026, right?
It's going to be a tough year for those preseason.
Normally, they're awful. I got a couple of them. Normally, they're pretty stank across the board, okay? But I have not smelled one this shitty in a long time, man. I'm walking down the hallway. I'm like, man, what is that smell? What is this? I'm coming in from the garage, JRich. I'm walking in I got a big hallway. You've seen it. You come into the atrium. It's a nice hallway, right? I smell pure shit, dude. I'm like, dude, my son's door wide open, JRich. Close the door. It's stinking up the whole atrium right here, right? Listen, this quarterback mock draft class is the stinkiest I've seen ever. Every single big name draft analyst had and Ron has left out the biggest one. You know who was the 101 this year coming in the season? Number one pick. You know who it was, JRich? No. My bad. Wrong sounder, JRich. You know who the 101 was?
It would have been Klubnik. Or Nussmeier. Well, it wasn't Nussmeier, though.
So damn bad you don't even remember him now. Arch Manning was supposed to be the 101 this year. You got Arch Manning not coming out. Garrett Nussmeier, probably a day 2, day 3 pick. Kay Klubnik, day 2, day 3 pick. Drew Allar, probably going back to school. Carson Beck, no. Nico Iamaleava, no. Every one of these dudes was mocked to be a top 15 pick, and none of them are anywhere near the top 32 right now. Like, they're all day 2, day 3 guys, so I think that is, I'm just telling you right now, y'all better hope and pray Simpson and Moore declare. And I'm not there, Jay. I talked to a lot of people down in Roll Tide country.
I don't think Moore's going to declare.
I don't think
Simpson maybe.
If he wins
because
the Natty,
if Simpson declares and he maybe wins the Heisman,
if he wins the Natty or something like that, other than that, I think Alabama's going to write him a blank check. It ain't the draft to be playing them games at the top. It feels very 2022-ish. Remember it was in 2022?
You could say 20. It feels like 2025.
Well, 25, I think you kind of knew there wasn't going to be. Like, we were pushing Shador,
We knew, but it wasn't that different this year. The quarterbacks aren't very good. There's a couple guys coming back. It's always, can Drew Allar put it together? Can Arch Manning take the leap, right? Like, all these guys, it never ended up happening.
What's the strength of this class? Unfortunately,
defensive line is good, isn't it?
I think they're talking fantasy. Unfortunately, fantasy. It's probably a position that's already cluttered right now in the NFL. It's receiver. Like, this is a good receiver class. You got some really good wide receiver. Running back class, JRich, honestly, dude.
Yeah, you've been liking it less and less.
I can't name 5 guys that be like, these are you know who I want? Jeremiah Love. You know who else I want? Jadarian Price. They play on the same damn team. I want the backup running back for the RB1. That's who I want, right? Jonah Coleman, I like him. He's going to run a 4.6, 4.7 maybe, okay? Justice Haynes, I like him too. What
about Coleman? Is Coleman have a good season? Jonah Coleman?
He's good. He's Mike Davis, okay?
Ooh. You never want to hear Mike Davis calls.
The strength is the receivers, in my opinion. It's Tate, it's Lemon, it's Tyson, it's Boston. Anything with an N
Tyson
at the
101, end. And you're good, man. You'll be all right.
I don't think I would. If I'm Tennessee, do you want to spend the 2 overall pick on Jordan Tyson? Like,
No, they got to go defense. But I mean, this is a weird class, right?
It's a very weird class. It's a very weird class.
Very high. I wouldn't be surprised if Peter Woods goes extremely high. Like, if you're Tennessee, you probably draft Woods. That feels like a very Tennessee.
It's probably Bain. It's probably Ruben Bain.
If Ruben Bain's available, yeah.
They need an edge rusher. It's probably Ruben Bain.
But you think about him and Simmons together, like
I get it. I see the vision.
Yeah.
Right?
Got to help Camp. Simmons moves on, right? Because he's getting older too, right?
Yeah.
But
Chris Brazzell. Coleman's got wide receiver skills. Price fumbles a lot. Yeah, I get it. All right, Singleton, stop.
No Katron Allen, Ray? Come on. We haven't talked about the Penn State backs in a while.
He's Lindell White. I like Lindell. Lindell was good in the NFL, but he's Lindell White. I said this privately to her, and I'm not trying to be negative. We're going to get out of here after this. I have not been this unenthused about a draft class in a long time.
This has been one of the worst college football seasons in a long time.
It's been stank.
It's been really I've watched very few college football games this season because there's nobody that I want to watch play except for Jordan Tyson. But it's been one of those years, man.
Here's the thing: we'll cape up for somebody come February, come March. We'll we'll cape up for somebody and
gotta draft somebody.
It will be okay, but 27 does look good with Julian Sayin, with CJ Carr out of Notre Dame. CJ Carr looks like a guy. Jay Mayavis probably coming back to USC for another season. 27 is looking like it's good. There's already some hyper hype tweets out there about it being the best class of all time. I can't go there. I can't go that far, but it should be pretty damn good. All right, JRich, hit the music, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Wake up with Ray and Jay every single Monday, every single Friday, every single Wednesday. I missed the Wednesday in that one, JRich. I was just looking at you and saying, man, I had a fun time this show, JRich. This was a good show. Hit the promo. Tell everybody to pull up to the main event next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our mid-season mayhem show with the entire DDFB crew. Me, Ray, Scott, Shane, and we will have more guests as well. We have a ton of fun games, segments, giveaways, so make sure you pull up. That will be on the DDFFB YouTube channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November the 12th. Thank you guys for tapping in. Make sure you like and subscribe, and of course, we'll be back on Friday to talk all things Week 10, Ray. It's getting down to the wire.
It was
Start
crazy.
making those playoff pushes.
Week
the season
10, dude.
has been flying by.
Crazy.
But I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football should be decent as well.
Who we got Thursday night? Who's playing tomorrow?
I forget. It's Denver and somebody.
Who's playing
the
them all?
Raiders. They play the Raiders. They play the Raiders. That's who it is.
Denver versus the Raiders. All right, there it is. Brock Bowers, man. We get to see Brock Bowers. Hell yeah. Let's go, baby. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Hit the thumbs up button, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on Friday. We out. Peace.
Peace.